great. Okay, this next section right here, initialing here authorizes us to market your home through the multiple listing service. This is a big, powerful database that gives us high exposure to all the agents and their buyers, as well as this is where we start to populate a lot of the national websites information as well. So initial there and then the initial date at the bottom of the page.
Okay.
Great, nice
Excellent.
job. Okay, this next page right here, this authorizes us to put a lockbox on the property. Now these lockboxes are awesome. They're electronic, and my key has to update every day, as does every other agent. So an agent has to stay in good standing daily in order to access this lockbox. The other great thing about it is when they open up that lockbox, I get a notification at the office that they have accessed the box. And I can now send them that request for information that we talked about earlier about getting feedback, okay? So it's a great tracking device, but I do need your authorization to do that. Fantastic, thank you. Okay, this next section here, you say that you're authorizing us to use all these different methods to promote and market your home. Do you have any concerns with any of those, putting a sign on the property, using print media, internet, any of those?
No.
Just get it done, huh?
Yep.
Okay, property disclosure form. We're going to go over that here in just a minute. I'll give that to you. This is an opportunity for you to give an accounting of the property and the condition of it. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. Lead-based paint property. Since your home was built after 1978, you don't have to disclose anything about lead paint. Transaction-related services disclaimer. As part of the transaction, we may help you acquire some services. Maybe it's a repair person, maybe it's the title company, some service to help get us through the transaction. We're not responsible for the quality of their services. We're just providing a service to help narrow down your choices for that. In addition to that, any costs incurred with any of those services you agree to pay. Okay. Consent to limited dual representation. This and going into the next page. This goes back to that first brochure that we were talking about, how I represent you, okay? And limited dual agency, you remember that's if the buyer comes from Keller Williams. Initialing here says, yes, I want Keller Williams agents to show my property. If you initial here, it says, no, I do not want any Keller Williams agents to show my property. What would you like to do on that one?
Let's go ahead and let Keller. Yeah.
Perfect. Initial there. Great. Information warranty just states that the information you provide us is as accurate as you know is true. Deposits just states that you're authorizing us to hold any deposits in the transaction prior to closing. Cost reimbursements. If there are costs associated with the transaction and the deal falls apart, the earnest money associated with the transaction, you're entitled to that. However, half of that will come back to the agency to pay for any costs that have been associated here. Now, that's what it says in the contract, but honestly, I have never collected on any of that. I feel you've gone through a lot yourself. You're going to get that money back and use it to transition into the next offer. I'll make my money in the end when we get the property sold, if it happens to fall apart. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Earnest money dispute and interpleader. This just states if there is a dispute over the earnest money, the broker holding the money will follow the contract and law in order to disperse that. General provisions just states if there is a lawsuit, and let's just go ahead and have you sign these. If there is a lawsuit, the prevailing party has the right to seek attorney's fees.